I forgot to record.
all you said is total.
Man, everything you said, Benny, was horrible, dude. I don't think we're going that route.
I will definitely send what I said to Claudio so he can recap.
Gotcha.
I love the fact that you want to be relevant and combat what's happening out there today, and I do agree with that because I listen to the same stuff that you do.
I'll be honest, just real quick. That's why I want to do this. That's literally the whole point of why I want to do this. Otherwise, I could just do a Bible study with my friends.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
I get that. Yeah. For me, the point was to do a Bible study format. So like to let the Bible drive the conversation and not just our own thoughts and ideas, but to stick with the idea of what we're reading at that time. That was my main point with the Bible study for direction. But the second point was to be relevant and combat what's happening. Because the truth is, yes, if we start seeing, not if, but when we start seeing, things in the sky, it's like for real, like not just like a doctored video or something, but like when it's actually going to start happening, people are going to freak out.
You mean the ones the Pentagon have been releasing, and like this is like.
It's happening. It's coming out today, right?
This is currently happening, and Christians are not talking about it.
It's still like a stigma of it, like or a dogma of UFOs, like in the masses, right? It's still like, oh, cool.
There's still a stigma about the vaccine and about COVID in the masses, and
true. But okay, let's talk about the church. The church itself doesn't even touch the alien idea, right?
Correct.
So that's why I like that we want to talk about this, right? And again, I say alien, but I mean everything that encompasses beings, supernatural dimensions, and I agree with Ben in the sense of how they are coming, and they're or maybe they're here right now, who knows, but they're going to be more they're going to be more visible, I guess, more in the mainstream, and we need if we can in any way show truth, or because I think people are being deceived left and right. And I think in the Christian, remaining Christian, whatever you want to call it, even people who go to church their whole lives, when they see this stuff happening on mainstream, they're gonna start believing things that they shouldn't believe and be deceived. If we can be a voice in that sense to push back and to really bring biblical truths to these weird things, and DMT is a big one, for example, right? If there are a lot of people doing this now. Ellie, that might not be big in your world because I don't know if it is or not, in the sense of, is it something that you've contemplated, or have you had conversations with people who've done these things? I mean, I'll tell you firsthand, Ellie, I've tried DMT. I've experienced different things, and I have things to say on that, but I do think that it's super important to talk about these things right now. And I really agreed with Ben when he said if we go through Ephesians or a different book, let's say, it's going to take us a long time to get out of the book and then go to another book. I'm a little torn because I don't know, the whole credibility thing. I like what Claudio said, but I kind of don't care either. I mean, listen, let's be honest. No one's giving me any credibility.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I can say whatever I want and be the nicest guy and say the nicest words and speak, but no one's going to give me credibility. And I don't care.
Yeah. You're going to be the divorce guy.
Yeah. That's how they're going to be like, oh, he's speaking again. Like, people, and maybe over time, if God, softens people's hearts, maybe they'll accept what I say. But
right.
As long as I can ask some good questions, that's kind of what I want to do here. And maybe if I can understand what you guys are talking about, maybe other people can understand too.
That's a great perspective.
I could be that guy that more of the audience. So that's my 2 cents on this. I think that's it. I want to hear what Ellie has to say.
Same.
Yeah, no, I think the credibility is going to come when we talk, right? So
exactly.
if we're gonna talk and we're always gonna sound like Scooby Doo in our explanations and our opinions, or figure out like, what crack are these guys smoking? DMT too, right? So
Right.
I think there is. I understand, and I get it. You're right, but you kind of clarified what the mindset behind the podcast is more so, which kind of
Okay.
makes it me to understand.
I think
Right.
so
At
too.
first, it was kind of like to Dennis, like verse by verse. Let's kind of break down the scriptures. I'm like, cool, sweet. Let's go to
Got it.
Ephesians. Let's establish some credibility, because going to Revelations, ain't nobody gonna know what we believe about the
Got
scriptures
it.
at this point, right? But to your point, I agree. Like even when I launched the podcast, in my thought, it wasn't like verse by verse. It was hot topic. Oh, the COVID vaccine's it. Boom, quick, 20-minute podcast monologue on the vaccine. And it wasn't your typical, what is it? It was, hey, as Christians, are we allowed to lie about the vaccine? Are we allowed to? It was more like, let's talk about things that we're not allowed to talk about because it's wrong, right? So I get what you're saying. I think we will be able to establish our credibility in terms of the worldview that we will be operating through, the lenses of which we're going to look at, the scriptural references, how it's going to dictate how we start looking at life. I think the credibility is going to come because of that. Now, if we're saying like, yeah, see, here's the beast, that's an F-150, and we're like trying to go crazy now, like, okay, these guys are smoking a little too much, right? As long as we keep things in light, I think the credibility is going to take care of itself, right? So, but in terms of what you're saying, I agree. I don't know what DMT is, to be honest, so I can't really speak to that. But I would like you guys to send me some videos.
Really? Okay.
It's a big deal, Ellie. It's taking over, man.
It's
taking
crazy,
over.
bro. It's freaking crazy.
So
Ellie, what's happening right now at the same time as people seeing all these things in the sky, the Pentagon releasing fighter jet radar and all sorts of other sensory data on things that are always around them constantly and always have been. Congress having hearings on UFOs. They set up a new department at the Pentagon that only deals with these kinds of sightings. That stuff is happening. It's a fact. Okay, nobody's arguing that anymore. And at the same time as that's happening, there's kind of a revolution in psychedelics going on right now, and it's probably as a result of Joe Rogan, to be honest with you, and the reach that he has. And what they are saying is a lot of people have, so it's called dimethyltryptamine. And the brain at the point of death secretes a small level, or is it a pretty large?
It's a pretty large level, yeah.
It's DMT, a pretty large dose of DMT. So your brain, the pineal gland, secretes a large dose of DMT at the point of death. Okay. And what they say is that it's a euphoric, it's a psychedelic. It basically takes you into what some people say other dimensions where you encounter certain beings. And a lot of people have the exact same encounters with the same beings. So if it's just some chemical interaction in your brain, it's very unlikely you're going to meet the same beings. Like two people are going to meet the same beings and have similar conversations. But everybody that has these trips, and like I said, Cambridge University is doing a study where they are mapping and cataloging where people are going, what it looks like, and who they're meeting and what they're saying. And a lot of people are having the same interactions. And I just find it curious that at the same time as these things coming here, we're going there. Okay. Thereby, I mean, the spiritual realm, other dimension, wherever they are. And those things aren't leading people to Jesus. They're not saying, hey, get out of here, go worship Jesus, because that's what the Bible, that's not what they're telling them. They're telling them it's all about love. It's all about yourself. Whatever and anything they want to hear is what they're telling them. Then people come back. They tell their friends, dude, you got to do this. This is what I learned. It opened me up. I'm so much more loving. I got to love. I got to love. Nothing about Jesus. If an angel of light brings you another gospel other than what we said, it's of the devil, right? I think that's what they're engaging with. And so it's just a coincidence that as they're coming here, we're going there. There's some kind of reunification of these dimensions that's happening right now, in my opinion. And I think that plays a big role in what we see or why revelation happen, or the apocalypse or whatever, tribulation happens when it happens, is as a result of this intermingling or this revisitation of these demonic forces here on earth, which is what I think happened during the time of Noah with the Nephilim, the sons of God, all of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Jesus comes back and wipes it off the face of the earth again. And I think that's why he does it again, round 3, post
Right.
1,000-year reign. Well, not 1,000 years, because I don't believe it's 1,000 years. So I just see that pattern. I see these things happening. These are the way that the puzzle pieces are fitting together in my mind based on what I know, okay, both culturally and theologically. And so to me, it's pressing.